Breakdowns to breakthroughs. This is season 1, episode 2, Ratchet by Association, WAGS Miami. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome to Miami. Benito, Miami.
I think there will always be a song made about Miami. Forever. Forever. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is AFTERBUZZ TV. You're watching WAGS Miami, Season 1, Episode 2, Ratchet by Association. Feel free to join us on the live chat tonight. We would love to hear your feedback because there is a lot to talk about. I'm one of your hosts, Heather Yerrid. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Heather Yerrid. And to my left,
Domonique Price. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at DominiqueP_ESQ.
I'm Jennifer Leone, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jennifer Leone TV.
all right, ladies, ESQ over here.
I know. Little fancy pants.
So let's get started. First and foremost, I want to say something that after last week's show that I want to make sure that this is going to be the rule that I set. Okay? At least for the next few episodes. Comparisons. After seeing the comparisons, AFTERBUZZ host versus AFTERBUZZ host, I thought to myself, what did maybe we do last week that we should avoid this time? We compared WAGS LA to WAGS Miami. So after reading those comparisons on the host, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a pact, at least for myself, to not compare the ladies tonight.
Okay, we are done comparing.
I think it'll be easier
Live
this time
here
around.
Today, guys. No more comparing.
Now I know how it feels.
I must have missed it because I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's get into it because there was so much that happened in this episode. I want to make sure we can absolutely cover everything.
Yes,
so much good
yes,
stuff.
yes. So we start off with Ashley and Darnell. Ashley again stating her piece, wanting to be the first person to talk about what happened with Claudia, Hencha, her, the whole shebang. So my first thoughts, really, I just need to get a temp check here. Is there a difference between hoe and hoe-ish?
Yes, you can have hoe-ish tendencies without being a hoe. They're two different things.
Oh, what's a hoish tendency?
Okay, so a hoe-ish tendency might be like, I might have slept with him on the first night, but we're in a relationship now, so it's okay. Being a hoe that's like your MO on a regular basis.
Okay.
See?
I kind of. I kind of see, but I kind of don't. Like, to me, no, I'm not seeing the distinction. We're
I'm not
judging
either,
it.
but I was trying to make it right. I was trying to.
I could see maybe the tendencies. I mean, but that was the number one thing, right? That's what they kept going back and forth on. She didn't say that you were a hoe. It's that you were hoe-ish.
Right.
That was the one thing that differentiated the whole conversation.
Yeah, and apparently that needed to be defined.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
get
if you blatantly call someone a name, that's kind of, I think, where they were getting at. Like, you're a hoe.
Yes.
Or, well, there was hoish behavior taking place, which makes it all better. That's what they were trying to say.
Well, regardless, the ladies thought that it was necessary to have what I would call a mediation. So I don't know about you guys, but Darnell offers to be the middleman, per se.
I see that.
What do you all believe about, or what is your personal experience, I should say, when you have arguments, intense conversations, and you get into it with another one of your female friends? Having somebody, if there's 3, play that middleman. What do you guys think about that?
I'm not a fan of it. I'm a really big proponent. All of my friends will tell you if Dominique said it, she said it to your face first before she said it to anybody else. I'm not really into the whole middleman thing because I just think at this point we're too old for it. So I felt like I was cringing with Darnell, but I also felt like at the end of the day, she's trying to make sure that these women don't go to like wrestlers by the end of the show. So I appreciate at that point, but I think at the end of the day, it's not necessarily Darnell that was playing middleman. I think Ashley's been playing middleman more than anything.
So I disagree with you completely. I think having a middleman when it comes to like 2 women that are having issues, if a third is involved and a third is there, that third one should absolutely say something. Because one way or the other, depending upon ego, someone's going to say my point's right, my point's wrong.
Yeah.
If somebody has to take responsibility for something, and if it helps minimize the fight and get shit over with, then why not have someone, hey, look, I'm not taking sides, but I feel that you did X, which is why she feels Y. I would feel the same way. I'm not taking sides, but let's squash this. I think you were wrong on that note. I think having a middleman is extremely logical. So I don't I don't agree.
Do you think that's always the case, though, when there is a middleman, that it always does get squashed?
Well, I want to clarify. I'm not saying that she was wrong for being the middleman. I said it depends on what type of middleman you're being. I think what Darnell was doing was totally cool. Ashley being a middle person, because that's basically what she was trying to do.
I think you're being nice. I don't think she was being a middleman. I asked very specifically, what do you think about having a middleman come in? And to your question of, do I think it works all the time? Personally, if two people are having an argument and there is one other person who's in the loop or there, yes, I think it's always better. It might not squash it, but at least somebody can go home at night and know whether or not they were quote unquote right or wrong.
I see what you're saying. Like, okay, there's one person's side and then another person's side and then there's the truth.
I mean, we've been playing peer mediator since kindergarten? I mean, I think we all know that you need a mediator in situations, but there's a difference between being a mediator and being messy. Just like there's a difference between a hoe and hoish tendencies.
Yeah, so let's jump straight to that. Let's jump to that, right? So you brought up Ashley being a middleman.
Yes.
Now again, I love the way she is. I think it's great that she calls it how she sees it, which is exactly how I am, and it sounds like we got a couple other ladies here that do the same thing. But let's jump to when everybody got to Darnell's house for whomever to play middleman. First of all, that bottle, past the bottle.
So you're talking about past? Okay.
I'm right.
Stupid. Unless we're all taking a swig or a shot beforehand, the bottle was...
High fives.
Well, yeah, they were still talking when there was someone holding the bottle, so it really didn't make a difference.
Has it ever worked when you guys were passionate about something? Has it ever worked?
No.
Me neither.
God, no.
Me neither. Now, I'm curious, what did you guys think about Claudia bringing Astrid? Knowing that it was between Claudia and Ashley, and then Hencha, who wasn't even there, Claudia brings Astrid.
Okay, so here's my thing on that. So I felt like if Astrid was going to go just to be, moral support, seeing as how Darnell and Ashley definitely have a closer bond than Claudia, and she wanted to make sure that Claudia probably didn't get trampled on in this house, because I could see that happening, because shit happens. What bothered me was Astrid's interjection into a situation that had shit to do with her. I was irritated the whole time. I was like, can I mute her? I just wanted her not to talk. Because I'm like, this has nothing to do with you. You're trying to insert yourself in a storyline that has nothing to do with you.
She was speaking more
than Claudia was.
Yes.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Why are people being thrown in? Is it someone dragging that person in just for moral support? Or is it producers throwing them in just saying, hey, we need you in a scene? Or,
being in a scene and talking in a scene are two different things.
She definitely owned that scene. Talking.
No, Ashley's perspective was that Claudia has so much to defend that she needed backup. I don't know about y'all, but I think it's deeper than that. Jumping way ahead, then we're going to come back. We even see in next week's episode, Ashley's going again with Claudia. So I think there's something there that we don't know about.
Oh, good point. There might be something. Maybe. Just those things that always get pulled under.
There's always that one girl that you just don't vibe with, no matter how much you try and bury the hatchet. You guys just don't like each other, and that's fine. But I would like to know, what is their underlining issue? Maybe it's something kind of like with Hencha happened way before the show, and we just haven't found out that storyline yet.
Or maybe it's something about being called Ratchet. I mean, because we
Don't
saw
even get me started with Ratchet.
We saw last week Ashley's energy shift as soon as she said Ratchet. And then in this episode, when they started, the minute all of them said, well, I called her Ratchet. Oh, she didn't. Talk to us.
Yes.
Well, first of all, hi to everybody in the group chat, because I'm trying to talk to you guys and be in group chat at the same time. And they're just amazing. So I love everyone that's talking right now. So just wanted to shout out to all of you guys.
I was about to hit you because I thought you were playing on your phone.
I know you weren't. That's why I was like, no, I'm trying to be in the group chat.
Oh my gosh.
But Young G is definitely, we're here because she's saying I don't like Astrid either, and I would like for them to pull her off the show.
Oh.
Well, she doesn't even have a connection. She doesn't have a boyfriend. She doesn't have a fiance.
I don't see it.
Her connection's Claudia.
Okay.
They're obviously close.
And the swimsuit.
The swimsuit line, the Hera swimsuit line.
But why is that? Yeah, all right.
I mean, we have a few singles on this show.
Right.
I definitely think this is just to jazz it up. I personally do think that.
We could jazz it up another way.
Yeah. And also...
Do they need me to come on and be executive producer? I'm available.
Speaking of coming on the line with the live chat. We have everybody vibing. People obviously think people don't belong in conversations. Let's talk about just in general arguments. And I hate to say be female oriented, but females with this telephone thing. Darnell had a great point. Yes. Whenever you got 7+ women, we're playing telephone. I can't tell you how many times that screwed me over in conversations.
Oh, totally.
And I my biggest thing was like when all of these girls were in one room together last episode, they couldn't hash it out. So I just didn't see the point of trying to hash out perspectives where you didn't even invite the other two. And I wasn't sure if it was Claudia or Ashley who said, you know, we can bury the hatchet, but at the end of the day, there's still Metisha and Hencha.
That was Ashley on the yacht over to the dinner, which we'll talk about that too. But that was a good point. It's like, at the end of the day, it's between them. But Ashley's really the one that started it. But she's the one that started it.
Did she really start it when, from what I looked at it, I feel like she happens to be cordial, because I don't want to use the word friends lightly, with both of these individuals. Claudia kind of did throw Hencha under the bus from jump, and I felt like Ashley was trying to give her the heads up, like, yo, like, you're about to walk into the situation and this chick's not feeling you for whatever reason. I gave her mad props for it. Now, how she brought it up at the dinner, how she brought it up again at this episode's dinner, a little tacky. But I liked her, like, let's just throw this crap out there and let's get over the elephant in the room. I do dig that.
So I didn't think it was tacky this time around. I did not think Ashley's approach in bringing it up at this dinner, what it did show me is that I think, again, there's a stronger bond between Hencha and Ashley. I think that they are close. I think Claudia is the outsider looking in with those two, because you saw her really go in and be like, there's a pink elephant in the room. She was like, I'm not sitting here, and I respect that. I thought that was good. But I don't think that it was anything. I think her getting involved and starting the conversation again was, I mean, you know, again, I appreciate her saying she says it how it is, but it was shit starting. I mean, it really was. It really was, which surprises me. Claudia apologized, and Ashley was like, wow, I didn't know you had that in you. But Ashley didn't apologize. Thoughts on that?
Wait, are you talking about when they were sitting in the
mediation at Darnell's house?
If she didn't apologize or if it didn't make the edit.
Ooh. Well, whatever didn't make the evidence is our reality.
Right.
So,
right.
It's so hard. You guys don't understand how hard it is for me to watch reality TV and know that there's probably so much of the conversation we're not seeing.
Yeah.
Because I've been there, done that. No, like, I'm like, I there was more to that argument. Y'all just didn't see. So I have to, like, temper myself.
For all intents and purposes of this after show, our reality is what's on that TV. Right. So what do you think about her not apologizing?
I thought it was a little shady, but I think Ashley from step one felt like she didn't do anything wrong. And she was really assertive in that from jump.
I don't think she thought she was doing anything wrong. So, and she was waiting for that validation from Claudia.
And then she said that. She was like, I did not think she was going to apologize.
Yeah. I think she should have apologized, though.
Ashley?
Yeah, absolutely. Because words were misconstrued. Again, when they were trying on bathing suits. When Claudia was with Astrid talking about, oh, guess what happened? Let me tell you about this dinner. And Darnell called. Darnell said on the phone, oh, I didn't know about Ashley getting up in your face, all that stuff. So again, a story misconstrued.
No, what she said, to be verbatim, what Darnell said was that Claudia was the aggressor in the situation.
She didn't use the word aggressor at all on the show.
She said that she did say that.
I did not hear aggressor.
We run the tape back.
We need like replays. We need replays.
She said that Claudia was the one who started the, like, got up in Ashley's face first. And I personally, being a black female, I feel like if I was at that dinner and Claudia called me ratchet to my face, I probably would have turned the table over. Me personally, there would have been, even if we were talking polite, the moment she dropped the ratchet, I would have got up.
See, the moment anybody would have called me a hoe, knowing I wouldn't be a hoe, and that I got a man at home with 3 kids, I would have done the same thing. Yes. So I do think it was both. I think it was both. They stood up, they got intense. I don't think Ashley was giving Claudia an opportunity to talk.
No.
So that's why, again, that apology I think was needed.
But you calling me ratchet is not going to help this situation.
Agreed. Speaking of Claudia with her words, and we'll talk about a little bit of gone fishing. Let's talk about fishing, okay? So here's what I mean when I say fishing. We see Julius and we see Claudia at home. She comes home prancing, oh babe, you know, like in her bathing suit. She's like, oh, I don't know.
I'm the only one with boobs and a butt. Like with that line, yeah.
First of all, I thought that was super funny, but I was like, nah, you're fishing. You want him to be like, yes, let me have that ass right now. What do you all think of that?
Well, my peeps in the chat agree. They can't stand Claudia.
Really? You know what? I like Claudia. I'll just say that.
Tell us more.
Because I feel like we need to see more. Again, you never know what's shown and what's not. But
what did we just say? What we see is our reality.
What we see is our reality.
Show.
Right. But I think it's, it's kind of cute that she wants her man to look at her, and it shows a little love and dynamic there, because you don't see a lot of that. Especially in this episode, you didn't see any bonds between a guy and
Did you not see Darnell and Rashad's date?
We're gonna talk about that.
But they're they're the only ones. Like, they're engaged, so it's like the
They're
other
so cute.
people.
I just
They're
wanna say.
adorable.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, we know that they're engaged, but what about the people who
need to be engaged to be on the show?
Right.
Just
You
kidding.
just can't get over it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do want to see more from Vanessa, and I don't even know what her boyfriend's name is.
Me too.
I want to see more from Ashley and her significant other, because I feel like they have such a dope storyline. The fact that they're not having sex, they have this child together. It's been a whole year. I would love to kind of get a little bit more of that.
I'm sure we'll get it, but I think
I'm
since
sure.
Claudia and Ashley and Darnell were the focal point of this one, I think that's why they are focusing, because they
Right.
do give us a lot of content.
Right.
But
Yeah.
back to kind of what we were saying with Claudia and Julius, I thought it was super cute as well.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved that she was teasing, and I was surprised to see her. She definitely has turned a corner in respecting, like, he told me to wear a cover-up, I wore a cover-up.
She
which
did wear a
worked.
cover.
I did like that. I did like that.
Yeah, she did
It's
kinda say that.
compromise. It's like, I know you kind of don't want me doing this kind of modeling, but I can at least cover up slightly. Although it was white and it was sheer, and I still seen her cheeks.
Yeah,
She
right.
tried.
Great cheeks. She's got great
She has a great
Body.
Yes.
I'm trying really hard not to curse anymore, guys. So
Don't worry
slap my
about it.
fingers.
Okay. Don't worry about
So
it.
she has a really great butt, and I was like, okay, like I'm with it, but it still wasn't covered.
By the way, when that happened and Hencha said, I hope she trips on her cover-up, I was like, oh, someone's a little bitter.
I'm sorry. I loved that. I loved that.
The shade in this episode was so
Phenomenal.
golden.
It was phenomenal.
Like, I could have been in the Sahara Desert with no tan because the shade was that good on this episode.
It was phenomenal. I mean, I never wish bad on people, because I'm a big believer in the evil eye. I'm spiritual. But I loved it. I love women that own that. They're like, yeah, I hope she trips, falls, and her boobies deflate. I was like, tell me more, girl. Tell me more.
It's like, that's harsh.
I just felt
bad.
that
I
was
was
bitter.
like,
That was
Well,
bitter.
we'll talk about that. Why? But
That
first,
was
I want to
bitter.
hit on the compromise thing, because we did not see compromise with Rashad and Darnell.
However, I think as women, we have a huge problem with not listening to the words that are coming out of people's mouth, especially when it comes to a significant other.
Okay, so even though I agree with that, let's catch up the audience just in
sorry,
case they
guys.
missed out, right? So when they go, I love the couples that play together.
Yes.
They're playing pool, they're getting it, they're teasing, they're flirting. He very nonchalantly but directly, when Hencha texts and says, I'm so excited for the engagement party. He goes, yeah, you know we ain't doing that, right?
Yeah.
I was like, wow. But
Yeah.
where was the communication there? How did he not want it and she just went in for the food, the invitations, all that stuff? She just
Right.
went. So I will have to say, please pick up on that, because I thought initially what he said was different than what her response was. Do you think she overreacted?
No. And also, I see a pattern here, not to bring back the first WAGS, but in there we see with athletes and their girls that they kind of wait until the end to say something like, oh, that's not really happening, or we're not really doing this, or I'm not, I feel like they feel that, I don't know, maybe it's like a narcissist behavior. I'm not saying that he's a narcissist, but just someone who kind of thinks that they're in control. Sometimes they are, but a
lot of times.
Right, and they want to call the shots and say, hey, guess what, that's not happening, and they expect their woman to just pick up and go, okay.
Yeah, which she did. She did.
Right.
Upset. She had a breakdown. We'll talk about that. But in that moment, I just wasn't sure where that communication gap
There was
was.
no communication.
I don't know, unless I didn't hear what you guys heard, but what I heard him say was we were having a private engagement party is what I could have swore I heard him say. So somebody fact check me and let me know.
No, that is true.
Because what I heard the sequence of the conversation goes was Hencha or someone said they were excited for their engagement party.
Yes.
And it almost was like he was saying, Hencha who? No, we're not doing that. Like, if it's going to be private. And she was like, wait, babe, no, I've already sent out a bunch of invitations. And so she went to a place of him saying, no, you can't have an engagement party whatsoever. Whereas I felt like he was just trying to say, let's keep it close close and intimate. And I feel like any relationship that has gone through cheating or, you know, you're already in the public eye, I'm on his side. I get wanting to have something closer to the cuff, family and friends, because at the end of the day, these other people are only coming to be spies. They're only coming to kind of not really wishing you well.
Talk about a negative perspective.
Well,
hold up.
While they're on a reality show.
I disagree, right? She had all right to get upset about that. She heard exactly what it was when she said, we're not doing that. I'd rather be private, me and you. Well, guess what? If I was cheated on and so forth, and we came back from that, you bet your ass
Screaming
I'd want
from the rooftops.
I'd want that party.
You got the carrots, boo.
I'd want that party, and I think she heard exactly what she heard, which
she
was
heard
no.
what she wanted to hear.
No, you are incorrect.
No.
We agree to disagree.
He did say it private, but I think in his demeanor it meant no, private, meaning me and you, and we're not going to celebrate.
We have nothing to hide. I would be like, we have nothing to hide.
Right.
I don't care if you know these women or not. I want that party. I planned it. It's time.
Mia in group chat is trying to drop tea and tell us that Darnell and Rashad are no longer together.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who's got Google? Who's got Google?
I can't Google and be on chat at the same
my
time.
phone's over there. Google us.
I'm gonna check.
So there are rumors about that. We've seen
really?
Yeah, there's rumors that the engagement's off, but for all intents and purposes, I personally don't have that finite information. I had a quick conversation with Darnell, who is going to be joining us in a few weeks.
Which I'm super
super excited about.
And
there was no confirmation. So I'm not going to speak to that right now.
So you guys continue to watch the live chat because we will have hot breaking news when we have Darnell in one of these seats in a few weeks. So we'll find out and we will ask.
Yes. And speaking of like why I might not believe that, or just in general as to why I do think he had good intentions, right? House hunting. When they were house hunting, first of all, that house was phenomenal.
so
okay,
cute.
can I move in? Like, I'll help do something. I don't know, but that house was amazing.
So beautiful. Yeah.
I loved his response when he said, what are we going to do with this space? He's like, have more kids.
Right?
I loved it. It was so cute.
Perfect answer.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, when we were talking about what we were just talking about, that...
what was that? What were we just
I
talking
don't want to
about?
go into it. God, it's so long. But, a woman should get what she wants and be treated like a princess. Bottom line. And in this scene, we see that. We see that that dynamic, which I love. We don't get to see it too often, but when we do, I get really happy.
It was great. They were on the same page about the game room. What room is this? We're going to have a pool table here. The jerseys be hanging here.
Jerseys all up. I was like, oh, that's cute.
And then they were talking about having babies, ready to get started. Ain't nothing little here. She's like, you ain't got to tell me twice. I thought that was so cute. So I personally think their dynamic was great. I do see that sensitiveness, but we see her break down. So they're jogging. Her and Ashley are jogging. She breaks down, and she says it's not about the party. But after she said all that stuff, I have to admit, I do feel that it was about the party, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
it was. That's
to me,
a trigger.
I feel like first of all, I just want to say I loved the bond between Ashley and Darnell. Like, Darnell hadn't even said anything, but Ashley could just see her whole spirit was different. Her energy was off. And I love their connection and their bond, how they were just able to like have a quick girlfriend moment while they were, working out or pretending to walk. I'm not sure. But I loved how she just was like, I want to be able to just show this off. And I personally feel like those are the wrong intentions to have, but I get it. You're at this point with your man and you want to be able to just shout it from the rooftop. I think that's when you release a press release maybe, but... Yeah.
I agree. I think Ashley we saw a different side of Ashley in this moment.
Yes.
She absolutely... She had a bunch of things to say, which I'm a work in progress about this. She had a lot to say. She held back the necessity and just supported. She was present in that moment, and that is very good friendship. I want to add something to Darnell's story that I love. I'm a big advocate for women not staying when they know they're being cheated on, right?
Yeah.
And she said, I got up, I love my baby girl, I moved out. And she referenced that again. That is so strong. I love that move. She moved out, and it did bring them back to the place that they are.
I love that.
But she took that step. And that was great.
Even though it was down the street.
Yeah.
She moved out.
Well, I mean, they have a child together. So I liked that she didn't like move back home with their kid. I feel like that would have been really kind of like vindictive. I loved how she tried to kind of keep somewhat of the family, together.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And overall, like, it worked out. Like, relationships are hard. Like, I never condemn a woman for going back after a man is cheated. Like, life happens. People are people, and we're human beings. So far right now, if people ask me who my favorite was, it would have to be Darnell. I love what she's showing. She's showing us an authentic, real WAGS situation.
100%.
And I'm so here for it. Like, we're getting the opportunity to see her with her girlfriends, to see her with her guy, to figure out like how you navigate in the WAG world when you do have a man that's like, women throw themselves up then on a regular basis. And I think that's the more interesting, compelling part and why a lot of people tune into WAG.
I mean, I agree. And we see another dynamic of that story come to life at the end when Hencha has her breakdown, right? This was full of breakdowns. So we're at the dinner, everyone's there to celebrate Astrid's fashion show, which for the first time, that fashion show was amazing.
It was cute how they were in
setup.
the water and everything. Yeah.
A great setup. And at dinner, they break into it, right? And we see Hencha for the first time start crying. That, to me, if I had to say, I think that's Hencha, guys. I think that's her.
She was just bawling. Like, she was holding this in for, I don't know, for years.
Yeah.
And this was her moment, that it was that girl that she thought ruined her life. And it was her and this girl, and boom, everything blew up.
I love actually, I use this word all the time. They entertained the same guy.
Yeah.
They entertained the same guy. Yeah. So I'll give it to Hencha on this note.
The language.
Love it. I was really surprised when Claudia said the story. She was a host at Dream. The guy kept
I didn't know why that was important.
Yeah, well, the guy kept sending her bottles. 1 week they knew each other, and then they flew to Paris. What are your all's thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think that's when we get back to, I'm not even going to go there.
Go there. Go there. What do you mean you're not going to go there?
Do it, girl.
Okay, so I'm going to say it again. 1 week, bottles being sent to her, then they fly to Paris. What are your all's thoughts on that?
Okay. Hoish behavior.
All right, so
tendencies.
Hoish tendencies. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, you never know, you guys. It could have been like a whirlwind romance, and they were in love, lust, and they just are lollygagging across the country.
You know, I think there's something else that happened between the bottles and the flights. Because people just don't give flights to Paris. I mean, let's say he's a billionaire. Let's just say that.
I mean, Hencha did say that he's, from a high-profile family in Africa.
Right.
So maybe he has
political
oil money.
Absolutely. Political money, all of that. Yeah, but men spend money as a deposit.
Agreed. And she did say that she sold her twat for fun. So
maybe that's where that came from.
I don't know if she did or she didn't. But regardless, look, if I looked as fly as Claudia did, I can't say that I would not if a guy was like, hey, do you want to fly to Paris? And I didn't have to work and I wasn't a coach, which I love coaching.
She doesn't work.
Yeah, I would totally be like, I'll go.
You see the way my
but they
business is
expect
set up?
other things.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But so personally, I have never within 1 week of knowing someone gone on vacation with a male. So I think that was interesting, but at least she owned it, and I loved that. Where we finally saw Hencha get real is that, first of all, real quick, Hencha's like, I hired his chauffeur. I
was the one. That was
so I knew everything that was happening. That was wild. That was raw.
Yeah.
I loved that. Sometimes I wish I had the moxie to do that. I guess I wish I loved a man that much to do that and key his Aston Martin. I don't know about y'all, but I've never engaged in that type of behavior.
Light to light. Key.
I think it might be the lawyer in me. I'm like destruction of property. You're
I don't
report
like
me to the bar. Like I don't care that
like
much.
That.
No, like just being like destructive to other people's property has never been my mojo. Like I may let the cops know where you are if you have a warrant. Yeah, I'm that girl. But I'm not going to destruct your property. Like that just
I'm the same. But again, I get a kick out of watching that.
Oh, for sure. That's why I watch reality TV.
Yes. So speaking of that, I think that we see Hencha be vulnerable. She says, I thought because he was doing so much for you, so clearly he wasn't.
I have a little bit of the sniffles.
That's okay. Clearly he wasn't doing that for her. I thought you were with him for over a year. I thought you were with him 4 years. And she owned in that moment, yet she didn't own in that moment that she messed up, that wasn't the case, that they knew each other for 1 week and Claudia was like, I never spoke to him again.
I still didn't believe that aspect of Claudia's messaging. Okay, so let's back up here. The type of woman that she's coming across to be, I think she could be fun to hang out with and she could be really dope. But from what we're seeing thus far, Claudia met this guy from just throwing bottles at her in a nightclub, and then he whisked her off to Paris. Do we really think that this was just a week-long lollygag, or do we think this is something where they were, you know, back and forth for a while, regardless of being in a relationship or not?
No, I think this was a 1 week thing. I have had plenty of girlfriends and had offers myself that I don't take, where I meet somebody the first night out and they're like, come with me to Paris, come with me here. So no, I think it could be a 1 week thing.
I think also
could.
These situations and these men are used to fast pace.
In my mind, I just felt like Claudia's the type of woman that would be able to bring him around for more than a week, but maybe not.
Well, she consciously chose to not be around longer than a week from what we
left.
saw. Yeah,
left Paris. Who paid for her flight home?
So that's the one thing that
Another good question.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I was like,
I just don't feel like that story ended the way that we were told it. But
guess
what?
We're going to stick
right. So
Guess
we're
what?
Gonna stick to the reality that we were given.
Exactly. That's the reality that we were given. Now, last week you said something pretty interesting about people not being able.
A lot of interesting
You
stuff.
do. People not being able to get over certain things or needing therapy in some sort. When Metisha was referencing Nicole and Larry. So Hencha
need some therapy.
Hencha says, 1 year I was depressed and I went into this whole like lack of confidence over this man. 1 year.
You know, as I said last week, you guys, I'm a firm believer, first of all, of therapy. I think if you have any type of issues in your past, or if you just want to go get checked out, I think you should go see a therapist. What I don't believe in is harboring hurtful, painful feelings for long periods of time, because I just think they eat at who you are as a person, especially if you're a woman. I feel like we already carry so much on our backs to have that kind of turmoil like live day to day, I think is unnecessary. Hencha needs to be on somebody's couch, and I think she totally still has issues that she needs to work on, because she said it, you know, even last episode, like, this is the only guy that I've ever loved. Love is a really crazy drug, which I don't think people associate it to be one, but it is.
Well, it's just as addictive as cocaine.
Exactly.
And it's actually harder. Well,
it's harder
fear and anger is as addictive as cocaine. Love is not even that much, but it's still at that level. So I hear what you're saying.
Right. And so as I was listening to Hencha, like, my heart hurt for her, because I wanted to give her a hug. Like, you could see that maybe why she, you know, kind of moves around the way she moves around now in, you know, relationships or the lack thereof, because she said she hasn't been in a relationship since him.
And I agree. I think she was consciously choosing injustice. And when people harbor resentment, that is a conscious choice to stay with injustice. So I think it is important to get that out. But it seemed at the end of the episode, she wasn't very, I forgive, but I never forget. She's still harping on that character.
I think Hencha created a situation in her mind, because she said, I broke up with this guy, and then he was with someone else.
Boom. I referenced that too. Before, when it started with Ashley, it was that she was with my man when I was with my man. No.
Right.
This time, you're right. She said, I just broke up with him, and now you're fresh out on the scene.
Yeah, the story kind of changed a little bit. But I think a lot of times when you're dating, that's a very gray area, where you're kind of broken up, but you're kind of not.
Not to a guy.
Oh, no. A guy is like, boom.
Well, it was a little fight, she said, and then after she realized Claudia was there, it was a breakup.
So what I've learned from men,
that changed though,
is that a little break to a man is like their opening for like wanting to get out when they wanted to get out for a while.
Yes,
that's how I think she kind of maybe misread that situation, and I liked that she kind of owned it a little bit. Like, maybe I shouldn't have been as upset, you know, with Claudia as I should have been.
3 years later.
3 years later, and to badmouth her like that over what sounds like to be a misunderstanding, like the same thing. And I know we said we weren't going to compare, guys, so I apologize ahead of time. But
that was just my rule. That was my rule.
That was just your rule. But the same way that Nicole and Metisha kind of had that gap period, and Metisha really being upset with Nicole, is it really the other girl's fault if you don't know what their previous relationship status was? Like, you can't put that on me. Put that on the guy.
I mean, I think Steve Jobs is to blame for all of us now for the rest of our lives, starting relationships on deceit, because no one can now ever cut the cord 100%. So again, don't get me started on that topic as a coach. Ooh. I will talk about that all day. To your point,
I want to sit on your couch.
Right? You should. See, I think coaching is a little bit better than therapy. Is, again, I push people forward and stretch them to own where they're 50% a co-creator. So where, in this instance, women can co-create that projection to the other female is where they can put that blame on them as opposed to the dude. But at the same time, that gray area is very gray and a fine line. On TV, at least, it's easy to say, I didn't know. I don't know about y'all, maybe because I'm clairvoyant and intuitive, but I always know.
I mean, in the day of social media, I feel like there's never excuse to not know about somebody's ex.
Exactly.
Like,
They
I'm
know
just going to keep
something's
it real.
happening.
Like, it may take 2 loopholes of a rabbit to jump down into Instagram to figure out somebody's relationship history.
That's right.
So I feel like there are no excuses. So I feel like that was total BS on Claudia's standpoint. But I'm glad to see that the girls were at least able to, hash it out. I thought it was funny that they made a point to say, does anyone else have any issues?
Yeah.
That was funny.
I thought it was absolutely hilarious because I felt like they all probably had a little something
There's gotta
else
be
that
something.
they wanted
Well,
to throw out there.
clearly we know from next week's previews that there's gonna be something, but on that note, maybe it's time for our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I thought in the first episode that there was going to be a lot of different girls and a lot of catty drama like Bad Girls Club, but this episode has really changed my perspective. I think that we're gonna get deep with these girls and see a lot more crisscross of what's going on in situations. I'm just excited to see what's to come, but I don't watch the full the next episode type thing. I don't like that because I like to be surprised. It ruins it. So that's just what I think. So.
I think before the season's out, Ashley may punch Claudia. That is my prediction.
Ooh, is someone going to get punched?
That's just what I feel. I feel like secretly Ashley's never going to get over her calling her Ratchet.
Okay.
And she wants to secretly punch her, and at some point I'm gonna see that, and I'll be happy.
Ooh, I like their honesty. You'll be happy. Okay, so me, predictions. We haven't seen it in the news, so this is a long shot, but I'm still feeling it because I sense these things. I feel like there's a chance we're going to see a pregnancy. We're going to have another pregnancy show up here.
Oh,
and
I think
we're going to see a trip. I think all the girls are going to go on a trip somewhere together, and we're going to see big drama on that trip.
I hope. And I hope
there's
it's
always
fast.
drama with these girls. So.
Yes.
What's the chat saying? You guys, do you have predictions?
They've been so awesome. No predictions just yet, but we are talking about hoes and haters and their love of us.
Great.
Oh, well,
I might have threw that last one in there, but
well, anyway.
we're gonna rock with it.
Yes. So I'm sure we are going to see plenty more hoes, haters, ho-ish behavior, whatever that may be. Fishing,
Yes.
breakdowns, breakthroughs. You have been watching WAGS Miami on AfterBuzz TV. I'm one of your hosts, Heather Yerrid. Thank you so much for watching. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Heather Yerrid. And ladies to my left.
And I'm Domonique. If you guys would so love to follow me, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at DomoniqueP_ESQ.
I'm Jennifer Leone, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jennifer Leone TV.
Thanks so much, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.